Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 6 Premium British Battleship, Warspite. It has 8 main guns, 16 secondary guns, 51 AA guns, a top speed of 23.5 knots, total of 53,800. For my modules, British crit chance on main battery, increase range and accuracy of the secondary battery, reduce the chance of flood and fire, faster rudder shift. For my commander, basic survivability, faster turret traverse, superintendent, and advanced firing training. We are on the map Strait, and I wanted to work on my British commander because the British are coming. At some point in the future, we are getting a cruiser line, and I want to have a commander ready to go. Now, we're engaging at long range with AP, and we only land a single shell, but it's a citadel, and it does a ton of damage to the enemy Nuremberg. The Warspite is one of those ships where you just wish it was better. It has really slow turret traverse. It seems to take every single shot at full damage. It's really squishy for a battleship, but you can make it work. Enemy Nuremberg, another Nuremberg, is showing his side. He hasn't learned from his last friend, and we only do 3,400. We miss the location for the citadel. We take a little bit of fire from multiple enemy sources, and I'm going to pull back. Look, I'm already half health, and I honestly haven't taken that much, in my opinion. As a battleship, you're just so squishy. So as we pull back, we've got to wait for the guns to rotate. Yes, they're fully reloaded, but we cannot fire until finally. But look at what we get! Perfect broadside. Can we punish? Please punish. Please punish. And we do punish. Just annihilate the enemy Nuremberg. We get a citadel, 3 more shells on target. Devastating strike. That's exactly what you want to do to a target that, quite frankly, was playing incorrectly. You really don't want to show your side when an enemy battleship is ready to fire. Enemy Königsberg is going to the center. The Tier 5 German cruiser. What's with all the German cruisers? He's showing a lot of his side too. We're trying to get some damage on him. And I'd say we got some damage. Oh yes, 23,000 points of damage. We didn't, however, kill him. Friendly gets the kill. I'd rather him be dead than wait on my cooldown. But man, is that frustrating. Just a sliver of life. 300 hit points. We did 23,700 points of damage to the target. Just a little bit too short. Now I'm around 50% life. I'm waiting on a heal. I'm trying to get back into range. One of the issues of the Warspite is that the guns are just slow to rotate. So you find yourself a lot of times rotating the entire ship instead of the guns. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're going to try and get in range. You also cannot have anything other than the scout aircraft. I think that's standard for Tier 6. Just want people to understand that. I would prefer the fighter just to protect me from aircraft carriers. I really don't like that the scout aircraft changes your point of view to something more of a top-down overview. It's not the same guideline. It's not the same aim point. So you can't use all the skills you've developed over the thousands of games that I have played myself. This enemy Nuremberg, I believe this is the one we started the game out. Showing a lot of his side. I'm hoping for a citadel. No citadel. Only 3,600 points of damage. He is advancing on my friendly. And I'm about 50-50 on whether I would prefer my friend to live or die. It's just more enjoyable to hear him over comms, frustrated or near death, screaming for support. You can't buy that kind of entertainment, right? But in all reality, we need every single ship on our team. I don't really have a good angle to fire my AP on the Nuremberg, so we're going to try the Alba. The Alba is the Tier 6 for the Japanese. And he's showing a lot of his side, but it looks like he was coming towards my ship. I should have looked at the minimap a little bit more and depressed the gun ever so slightly. I have to deal with the islands. This is not what I want to deal with. The enemy battleship, the New Mexico, barely misses with a huge salvo. Only take minor damage. And I'm going to try and fire on him before the island is in the way, because we know how islands like to work. So it looks like the north spawn has basically given up. They're trying to come to the south. Well, the south spawn is sort of getting pushed in. And we have a couple destroyers that went through the center of the map, and they're not really doing anything right now because there's nobody in the center. The aircraft carrier on the enemy team did not go there. I lose my friend, unfortunately, and it's just not looking good. I'm in a battleship that is really not meant to carry. I'm trying my best, however. I'm never going to give up. The Nuremberg is riding that border. Don't really want to deal with that. We take some battleship fire. Thankfully, he misses. I am wide open. There's nothing I can really do. You have to compensate for the gameplay. If the gameplay is going poorly, then you have to overextend and look for kills. Instead of going after the battleship, I'm going after this Phoenix because he's really low, and I think he's going to show himself. He wants to send his torpedoes. It requires some angling. And with that in mind, I expect that he's going to soften and be perfectly broadside. We're going to try and kill him. I think I missed a little bit. Yeah, I did. Ugh. It could have been a better shot. We have our secondaries going on the target. 100% torpedoes are in the water. Just need to maneuver accordingly. So whenever I see a target that possibly has torpedoes, drop them. I kind of like to change my direction, and we kill him with our secondaries. Alright, well, it worked out in our favor. By the way, why am I going a secondary build on the ship? I don't really like the ship, so I find a little joy in a secondary build. Down here, you don't find that many players willing to stay at extreme range. It's much more brawly. It's much more entertaining for me. And that's how I find fun with this ship. You could just go accuracy. You could focus on demolition or manual AA, but this is going to be a all secondary build until the British cruiser line comes into focus. We're running away. We have perfect angling, but it doesn't do anything because the ship just takes more damage inherently. Maybe they'll rebalance it, I don't know, but we are trying our best to get in position to do something. Maybe we can kill the battleship down south. Maybe we can drag out these ships and find them with a wide open shot. The enemy Congo is showing a lot of their side, and I'm willing to risk my ship a little bit to get an angling. It's more advantageous. So we lead the target, we fire on his position. The enemy Alba, who's full health by the way. Now, is he full health because he stayed in the back so much, or he's just that good at avoiding attention? Yeah. I know the answer. I hope you know the answer too. So I'm going to work on the Congo. I feel like he's a bigger threat. He can do more damage. Plus, he's not really looking at me. So it should be free damage if we can aim correctly. And you can see on the mini-map, he's slightly coming towards me, so I depress the guns. And I'm looking for that damage. Oh, that's good. No citadel, but 12,000 points of damage. Enemy torpedo bomber is on my butt, though. I can't really change my angle that much. I'm trying to avoid all the damage behind me. I set it as my primary AA, but I'm going to try and kill the Congo before I maneuver. And of course, what does he do? He angles against me, probably on accident, quite honestly. You know, maybe he's just amazing and he knows exactly when I'm going to fire, but I'm going to assume he's just trying to reposition for whatever reason. We're able to avoid some damage. It didn't cause a flood, thankfully, and the dive bomber was unsuccessful. So there's that. Everything bad has been happening to us, but at least we didn't have the worst case scenario. And the Congo, fully broadside. Get the Congo, kill him! Are you kidding me? 193 health. What do I have to do? Secondaries, can you finish this for me? Secondaries? Okay, so they're unsuccessful. We're going to use our back guns. We shouldn't have to do this, but at least we have the option to do it. Of course, we kill the Congo. we barely need to do any damage. We're going to continue to take damage because we have 2 battleships and 2 cruisers basically firing on our position. Just not enough ways to avoid damage in the Warspite, and we die. I don't know what those 2 destroyers are doing. I don't know what they're doing. You know, they're hanging out, they're being all cute, but they're not in position to torpedo battleships and assist our team that effectively. This New Mexico, he's isolated and in trouble. So what could I have done differently? I should have gone after that Nuremberg, but I was greedy. I felt like if I took a ship out of the entire match, that would have been more useful than if I were to try my best to keep my friend in the match. I really should have done that. Even if I were to be unsuccessful, he probably would have died, and a 1-to-1 trade isn't really favorable for the enemy in that scenario. I really wish those 2 destroyers would have done something other than the strategy they chose. It's just not going to work when you don't land torpedoes, you don't scout for your team, you don't really provide anything extra that makes the difference in the win-loss scenario. Now, enemy dive bombers are incoming to the New Mexico. The New Mexico fired on the Fuso, who is nearly full health. So he's probably not going to kill him. He's able to take out a significant portion of the torpedo bombers, and it looks like he actually slows down, but he's going to take one at least. I don't think he's going to be able to avoid it. He's doing everything he can. No, he's definitely taking it. Did it cause a flood? Yes, it did. Wow. Really bad luck. Dive bomber, any second, sets him on fire. Probably, yep, he uses damage control. And he's trying to make sure that he has his guns pointed to the port side of the ship to engage. He has good angling against the 2 ships. You're really in a no-win scenario, honestly. Looks like one of the battleships went back to defend their base. And the friendly destroyers do have a chance to win this game if they hit torpedoes on the enemy battleship. As for this New Mexico, he's dead. He's so dead. The enemy set a fire on him. Damage control is down, right? So we're going to go check out the torpedo. What's going on? Okay, so they sent torpedoes in the gap. They are scouted by the enemy scout. One of them dies. Okay. And they gave up the position of the smoke. Why would you put smoke down and not stay in it? So now the enemy battleship is going to use it against them. And we go back just to see he dies. Yeah, he burns down. It's all on this single destroyer's shoulders, and I don't think he's going to win. I know he's not going to win. He's not playing correctly. He's sending torpedoes because he feels like there's someone in the smoke, which there is because the battleship just sailed right into it and is now using it against the Minikaze. Isn't that funny? A battleship is using the destroyer's own smoke against him, and he can't do anything about it. Now look at this aircraft, though. I think he's actually landing. This is one of the few instances where you can use it as a tell. Notice it flies to a position and then disappears. We're seeing secondaries, so that confirms the battleship sees the destroyer. And we get the battleship guns, so he's right in front of us, almost right underneath that icon for the base. But the Minikaze is refusing to send his torpedoes. I don't know what it is. He's going to die, though, to either the secondaries or probably the back guns for the New Mexico. And the secondaries actually take him out. Okay. Well, that was pretty cool for the New Mexico. And overall, the battle felt really good. We were able to get a lot of credit, XP, 3 kills, a lot of citadels. We got close quarter, expert, and a devastating strike. Only 1k base XP. Almost 100,000 points of damage. I enjoyed my Warspite game, but that's not the only game you have. You're getting another Warspite game if you are interested in that. Now, this Warspite game is on the map Two Brothers. I was headed out to the enemy base. Now, I fire AP at an enemy destroyer. It basically interrupts his ability to capture the base, and I swap to HE, noticing that there's actually 3 enemy destroyers in the area, and one of them is outrunning his smoke ever so slightly, but as I'm ready to go, he disappears. They capture the base, and I'm pretty far forward. this enemy Königsberg is showing a lot of his side, so we're going to fire. And then I want to switch to AP. Just as the enemy destroyer shows back up. We do 5.5 with HE, we set him on fire, and it looks like that destroyer actually runs right into a friendly torpedo. That's fantastic. But now I have AP loaded. I really want HE loaded. I can't do anything about that at this point. But he disappears, so your decision actually worked out, Notser. In actuality, I would 100% switch to the destroyer if given the opportunity. He doesn't give me that opportunity, so we fire on the broadside Königsberg, and we get a citadel. 14,000 points of damage, and look, he's barely alive again. And he's finished by a friendly. Where have I seen that before? It's just one of those days. But I'm completely fine with it. I didn't deserve that kill. Yes, I did significant damage, but that guy probably did just as much in fires. The enemy destroyer is back. He's only 10 kilometers away. We need to get this guy. So I fire the remaining AP, and I swap to HE. I was hoping I would get an opportunity. We get one shell to make contact for 1,000 points of damage. No modules, of course. AP's not very good against destroyers. And he's running away. He hasn't fired. He's probably going to drop off just as I... Of course. There's an enemy Cleveland firing on our position. Not very well, though. He's missing most of the time. I'm not complaining. Enemy destroyer shows up very close and then disappears. So I believe that destroyer popped their smoke. Fine. I'll go after the Congo. It's the only ship that I could see, and of course, right as I fire, the enemy shows back up. I expect enemy torpedoes. Oh, 5K. That's not bad. I expect enemy torpedoes, so I'm going to move away. We are on fire, but the threat of torpedoes and another fire, of course. We got to be careful. I choose to use damage control. I believe I can predict where the torpedoes could go and maneuver accordingly. I swap to AP. I just want to get the Congo out of the fight, and I'm about to run into an island. Turn, Notser, turn! And of course, the first salvo from the enemy. Oh, 9K, nice! Sets us on fire, and we run into the island. We pull a Notser. Out in the open, with the pants down. We don't have damage control. This is bad. And it doesn't look any better on the eastern flank. An enemy went through the gap and was able to get all the way through, capture our base, or attempt to capture. And we're attempting to finish off the Congo. He is very far away, but we have pretty good accuracy, and it shows. We take out the Congo. I feel great about that shot as well. No citadel, just good aiming. The enemy destroyer is on the point, hiding in the smoke. The Farragut is nice enough to drop smoke for me, and the Cleveland has run into the island. He's backing up slowly. We're trying to traverse and use our AP at the waterline. I hope that that was enough lead. Whenever a ship is moving back from an island, I either overlead or I underlead, and it looks like I overled the target. We do get a shot on the target to disperse into the ship hull, do 3K, but he's still alive. The enemy cruiser that went through the center takes a big torpedo or a big shot from a friendly. I'm trying to get an angle to finish him off. I'm hoping that he will actually die to a friendly so I don't have to do this. However, I choose to use my scout plane and I want to finish it. Everyone on my team on the western flank is all the way against that island. I don't know why everyone wants to do it. I'm trying to come back and work on all these ships. I would also like to try and recapture A. We do have to kill the destroyer first, though. That is a problem. It's actually 2 destroyers. Oh, great. This is actually the worst thing ever. And the 3 friendlies are unable to finish off the destroyer. We actually lose 2 of the 3, I believe. And my secondaries are the only thing that can protect me right now. I'm in between 3 destroyers, and this is not what I want. So what I choose to do is reorient the ship against this destroyer. I assume that he sent his torpedoes in order to get that kill, so he might be down. This is our chance, and we're able to do pretty significant AP damage. Friendly is able to do a little bit more. Are we going to get the kill, or is the friendly? I'm able to get one turret tracked from the back and take the enemy out. Those 2 destroyers are hounding me. They're trying to get fires. I just put out fire on my ship. And we're instantly lit up. That's just the life of the Warspite. It just cannot deal with HE that well. It really can't deal with anything that well. Its armor feels like paper. And I'm trying to get the guns in position. We've got to do as much damage as we can. This Ognivo is very low, so why not use our guns? And we're able to take them out. Friendly sends torpedoes. Don't know how successful that is. Thankfully, it's not really in the way, but we're burning. I'm going to just let it burn out since damage control is going to be up 4 seconds later. It's not worth using damage control. Are we going to be? Oh, we're fine. Okay, we were able to outrange the Soviet torpedoes, and I have the fire go out. The fire's out, guys. It is back on. Really? Really? Now that he's behind an island, I'm going to be aggressive. I need health bad, so I put out the fire. I'm sure this is really going to cost me, and are you serious? Seconds. Seconds after I used it. We're going to take one. Please no flood. Of course. It causes a flood. So now we're going to die. Can I kill him before I die, though? Give our team any chance of winning. He's showing a full broadside. We've got HE loaded. Oh, yeah. 7K. I'll take it. And we should be able to finish him. Really? Another fire? First salvo, he gets a fire. On the tip of my ship, no less. We're going to burn down. We just don't have enough health to survive against all the dot damage. And for those who don't know, damage over time, fires and flood are damage over time. They do significant damage over time, damage control, and thankfully the Kuma avenges our death. But damage control is what you should use if you got 2 fires. You really should wait for the second fire. I know, I break it all the time, but I'm so aggressive, I need every ounce of that health because I realize I've got to carry a lot of games that I just shouldn't have to. So that's my thought process. It's a bad thought. You want to wait for the second fire. Use premium damage control. You definitely want to put out a flood, unless of course dive bombers are right on top of you. You want to hold out just so you can have the immunity to prevent the fire from sticking or any other random shots that are incoming. This friendly is taking a pounding. He's got 2 fires on his ship, and I don't believe he can put it out. One of the fires goes out on its own. Enemy New Mexico, enemy Nuremberg, and the enemy torpedo bombers are incoming. He's gonna die. Can he take the enemy New Mexico with him? He's trying to avoid the torpedoes. And another fire, of course. It's kind of funny because the Nuremberg would probably do more AP when this New Mexico is broadside to his ship. There's really no reason to use HE on a German vessel if the target is broadside. You just have great guns for doing AP against them. But it actually works in his favor because the dot starts ticking and giving you extra benefit. This Königsberg is definitely going to die, and he's probably going to die to the Nuremberg. For whatever reason, the Nuremberg actually fired into the island, and the Königsberg is actually doing pretty good damage against the New Mexico. We do a quick check. The friendly Kuma is in range of the enemy aircraft carrier, and he should be able to take him out. We have a chance. So you're telling me there's a chance, and we lose him, but the enemy battleship was pretty low. That would be an easy follow-up. The Kuma is easily going to kill this aircraft carrier. There's nothing he can do. And the battleship dies. We've still got a chance. Come on, Kuma. Take out the aircraft carrier. Avoid the Nuremberg. You can't be perfectly broadside. You actually have to angle your ship. You don't need to show this much side to the enemy. He's not taking that much damage, but if the Nuremberg switches to AP, then we're going to have a problem. Just look at the rate of fire, by the way. The Nuremberg and the Königsberg, they just have great rate of fire. And the enemy aircraft carrier is down. Now the Kuma just needs to angle against him. Be careful of the torpedoes. Be careful. Okay, good. He's able to predict. I think he's going to be good. Yeah, he's going to be clear of the torpedoes. Now he just needs to run away. He doesn't need to do anything else. Just make the enemy come to you, stall him out. We have 3 bases to their 1. We will win the game if nothing else happens. But this is World of Warships, right? Yeah, it's not that easy. Oh, the strategy is simple. Run away and hide? No, let's not do that. Let's make it really easy for the enemy. Let's try and show our side and get closer to him. Yeah, that'll work. That'll really help our team. So, I think the Kuma doesn't realize what he has to do. I think he actually expects to take out the Nuremberg. And he possibly could. The aircraft carrier just needs to keep his fighter squadron close to the Nuremberg and keep him spotted. The Kuma doesn't need to fire, but if he has that information, he might as well understand where the enemy Nuremberg is going to go. The friendly aircraft carrier finally scouts him out. He needs to be careful not to lose the aircraft. The Kuma doesn't need to do anything. Okay, well, now he has to do something, because now he's spotted. He's full broadside against the cruiser. This is not a good strategy. Please do not do what this player is doing. You either have to have good angling and, of course, he gets his propulsion knocked out and the Nuremberg penetrates his armor. He's got to re-angle the ship. What are you doing? He loses another 6K to the enemy. And he needs to just run. Just go full neutral and run. Okay. This is probably not going to be in our favor. Why? It'd be one thing if he had great angling. It would be one thing if he was in a position to ambush with torpedoes. He had all the information. He didn't have to fire. But since he did, he has to angle correctly. This friendly Independence is moving away. There's no way he's going to be able to recall, rearm, send out in time. But if he lands a torpedo strike, all is forgiven. And they are in position. The Nuremberg is maneuvering away. Was he successful? I don't think so. No, I don't think he did it. Oh man, that's really frustrating. It's not easy, okay? Using the aircraft carrier is not easy, especially at low tier, where the aircraft move pretty slow. You can't just outrun the turn of the enemy. But to get no damage. Sure, the Kuma must have landed something on the Nuremberg. Maybe he set him on fire. He didn't get anything. Dive bombers or torpedo bombers. The Nuremberg isn't dying. He did stall him though, and that's great. But he didn't do it enough. The Nuremberg just has to get on the point. He doesn't have to capture it for his team to win. And we're not covering enough of that gap. We're about 70 points behind. And it doesn't look like we're going to be able to win the game. Oh, man. The enemy team definitely knows. The game is won, boys. We don't need to worry about anything. Look at this team. They just threw away their chance to win the game. Would I have done anything differently? I would have fired on the Nuremberg. But I would not have had such terrible angling. And if the Nuremberg was engaging me and he was gaining ground, I probably would have pulled off. He could have also waited until the friendly aircraft carrier brought his dive bombers and torpedo bombers and kind of double team the enemy ship. It doesn't work out in our favor. We are no longer gaining ground on the enemy. We are going to lose. And it just makes you sick. We were so close. One random chance to light us on fire, waiting half a second to put that fire out. If I would have just made better judgment, I probably would have survived a little bit longer and had a chance to assist in maybe one more salvo. But instead, we were too aggressive in that one moment, and it cost us. We earned 400,000 credits. That's good. 4 kills. I'll take that. 1,180 base XP. Around 70,000 points of damage. I hope you enjoyed the game. Either way, very close. And you can learn from my mistakes. I hope you enjoyed both games. I hope you have a fantastic day. And I'll catch you next time.